Okay, so let's move on to question 2. Okay, question 2, you are given that equation. Okay, so let's take a look at this equation here first. Okay, realize that this is actually a quadratic equation, which means you do know that it's either a happy graph or a happy graph. Okay, and it's stated that it has a turning point at x equals to -3. Okay, so if I have a turning point x equals to -3, agree with me, I can fill in my coordinates, which will be -3. My x coordinate is -3. Okay, I do not know whether it's a happy or unhappy graph because if you take a look at the equation, okay, can you see that my coefficient of my x square, which is the one that's going to determine whether it's a happy or unhappy phase, is unknown in this case. Okay, so let's go on to this part. My main aim is to find the value of a. Okay, so how am I going to find this value of a given that I only have information about turning point? Okay, now what many of you did, right? Okay, you actually sub in x equals to -3 and y equals to 0. Okay, so if you try to visualize this, what do you understand by saying y equals to 0? So which means, allow me to write down. If you write this y coordinate is 0, this y coordinate is 0. Agree with me, you are trying to assume that your turning point is actually cutting the, sorry, my graph should be, give me a minute. Okay, you're assuming that your graph actually cut at the x-axis. But did the question says that it cut the x-axis? It didn't. It just say that it has a turning point at x equals to -3. So which means I can draw my graph to be something like this. Here is -3. I do not know the y coordinate. Similarly, the other one, a happy graph. Sorry, a happy graph, my bad. Okay, I can also have an unhappy graph with x coordinate -3, y coordinate unknown. Okay, so therefore we cannot assume that the turning point is on the x-axis. Okay, so continue from there, then how can we actually associate my graph, okay, with a turning point x equals to -3? Okay, so recall in your secondary school, we can do that by completing the square. Okay, so let's try to revise completing of the square. Okay, so in this case, completing a square, right? Okay, we always try to make sure that our coefficient of x square is actually 1. So therefore, I need to factorize out my a first. Okay, so as I factorize out my a, only factorize out for the first two terms, which means your x squared and your x. Ignore the constant because we do not want to complicate the expression. Okay, so factorize out your a. Okay, leave the 3 outside. Okay, so I'm going to have x squared 2 over ax. Okay, from there, try to complete a square. So again, just leave my a outside, my plus 3 outside. Okay, so when I complete my square, agree with me, this will be x first. Okay, this is the plus, so that's why I have a plus here. Okay, my square outside here. Okay, so how to get this particular term here, which I'm going to highlight in green? Okay, the second term here. Okay, so to get this second term, right, we always take a look at the coefficient of your x. Okay, from this coefficient of x, right, which I'm going to write over here, coefficient of x, we always divide by 2. So eventually I will have 2a times 1 over 2, which I will have 1 over a. So this will be my second term. So this will be 1 over a. Okay, so now we have this term inside. Okay, next thing is, while we are trying to complete the square, agree with me, in your secondary school, they'll tell you, we always give an extra term. That's why we must always minus. Okay, so minus the same term, which is 1 over a, but take note, there should be a square. Okay, so always 1 over a, and there should be a square here, and there is always minus. Okay, the next step is just expand. Okay, so I'm going to expand inwards, expand inwards. Okay, because I want to see exactly what is my coordinates. So therefore from here, expand, this will be what you get. Okay, so from here, agree with me, I can indeed find my coordinates of my turning point. So how to find the coordinate of my turning point? Agree with me, this highlighted in yellow will be a y coordinate. Okay, to find the x coordinate, same thing. What we'll do here is the whole thing highlighted in blue. To find your x coordinate, we will have this to equate to 0. So x plus 1 over a equate to 0. So for your x, you'll get x equals to minus 1 over a. So this will give you your coordinates for x, for the turning point. Okay, so from there, right? Okay, so since given by the question, coordinates at x equals -3, I'm going to equate both of them. I'll solve for a is 1/3. Okay, so I'm going to pause here for a while.